Pippy was a penguin, a very small penguin with a very big dream.
If birds can fly, why can't I? I bet it's like floating on a cloud.
One sunny morning, Pippy decided to try flying. He stood at the top of a snowy hill, took a deep breath, and jumped! He flapped his little wings with all his might.
I'm flying! I'm flying!
But Pippy wasn't flying. He was falling. Down, down, down he went, landing with a soft thud in a pile of snow. A nearby seal pup laughed and shook its head. Flying wasn't as easy as it looked. Pippy tried again and again. Each day he would wake up with renewed determination, his little heart filled with hope. He would stretch his wings wide, feeling the cool breeze ruffle his feathers, and imagine himself soaring high above the icy landscape. He flapped his wings faster. He jumped higher. With every attempt, he pushed himself to the limit, his tiny feet leaving the ground for just a moment longer each time. He could almost taste the freedom of flight, but gravity always pulled him back down. He even tried singing a flying song. He had heard that music could work wonders, so he composed a cheerful tune, hoping it would lift him off the ground. But nothing worked. Pippy just couldn't fly. His wings, no matter how hard he flapped, just weren't built for it. He sat on the ice feeling sad and discouraged. The other penguins were busy with their own activities, and Pippy felt a pang of loneliness. He wondered if he would ever find his place in the world.
Why can't I fly? He thought, looking up at the sky where birds soared effortlessly. It seemed so unfair that he was stuck on the ground while others enjoyed the freedom of the skies.
Just then, a wise old owl landed beside him. The owl's feathers were a mix of browns and whites, and his eyes held a depth of wisdom that made Pippy feel a little better.
"What's wrong, little one?" the owl asked, his voice gentle and kind. He could see the sadness in Pippy's eyes and wanted to help.
Pippy explained his dream of flying and all the funny ways he had tried to do it. He talked about his flapping, his jumping, and even his singing. The owl listened patiently, nodding his head. The owl listened patiently, nodding his head. He understood Pippy's frustration and admired his determination.
"Well, Pippy, not all birds are meant to fly." The owl's words were gentle but firm. He wanted Pippy to understand that everyone has their own unique abilities. You see, penguins have a different talent. We're meant to swim. The owl explained how penguins were incredible swimmers, able to glide through the water with grace and speed.
Pippy had never thought of it that way before. The idea of swimming instead of flying was new and exciting. He felt a spark of hope ignite within him.
Swim? But how do I learn to swim? Pippy asked, his curiosity piqued. He had spent so much time trying to fly that he had never considered the water.
"Why don't you ask Professor Seal?" the owl suggested, his eyes twinkling with amusement. Professor Seal was known for his knowledge of the sea. "He's the smartest seal in the sea," the owl continued, knowing that Professor Seal would be the perfect mentor for Pippy.
And with a gentle flap of his wings, the owl took off into the sky, leaving Pippy with a new sense of purpose. Soared away, leaving Pippy to ponder his words. Pippy watched the owl disappear into the distance, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He knew that his journey was just beginning, and he was ready to embrace his true talent. Pippy waddled towards the ocean, eager to find this Professor Seal. He had heard so many stories about the wise and knowledgeable professor who could answer any question about the ocean and its inhabitants. Pippy's little heart was filled with excitement and curiosity as he imagined the answers he might receive. He spotted a group of seals basking in the sun and hopped excitedly towards them. The seals looked so relaxed and happy, enjoying the warmth of the sun on their backs. Pippy felt a little nervous but determined to find the professor.
"Excuse me, are you Professor Seal?" Pippy asked, his voice trembling slightly with anticipation. He hoped he had found the right group of seals.
The seals looked at each other, then burst into laughter. Pippy felt a bit embarrassed but waited patiently for their response.
"I'm Professor Seal. What can I do for you, young penguin?" said a seal with a kind smile, stepping forward from the group. His eyes twinkled with wisdom and kindness.
Pippy explained his quest to understand why penguins couldn't fly. He had always wondered why they were different from other birds and hoped the professor could shed some light on this mystery. Professor Seal smiled kindly and said, "That's a very good question, Pippy. Let me explain."
Well, Pippy, it all comes down to evolution. Evolution is a process that happens over many years, where animals change and adapt to their environments.
Evolution? What's that? Pippy asked, tilting his head in confusion. He had never heard of this word before.
Professor Seal cleared his throat and began. "A long time ago, your ancestors were birds who could fly. But over time, they found that living in the water had many advantages."
A long time ago, your ancestors were birds who could fly. They soared through the skies, just like other birds you see today. But they found that there was more food in the water. Fish, squid, and other sea creatures became their main source of food, and fewer predators in the water. By swimming, they could escape from dangers more easily than by flying. Over many generations, their wings adapted for swimming rather than flying. And that's why penguins today are such excellent swimmers but cannot fly. So, over time, their bodies changed. Their wings became flippers for swimming and their bodies became streamlined for gliding through the water. They became expert swimmers, perfectly adapted to their ocean home.
Pippy listened intently, his flippers patting the sand.
So I can't fly because I'm meant to be a swimmer?
Exactly, you have a special talent, Pippy. You're a penguin, and penguins are amazing swimmers.
Suddenly, Pippy felt a surge of excitement. He had never thought of swimming as a special talent before. He looked at his flippers with newfound appreciation.
Wow, I'm a swimmer!
Namaste, friends.
A large polar bear balancing on a beach ball greeted them with a grin.
Having a little science lesson, are we?
Professor Seal chuckled.
This is Pippy, and he's just discovered his hidden talent.
The key is to embrace it. Every creature has a hidden talent, my friend.
He hopped off the beach ball and stretched his large paws.
Now, who wants to try some yoga? It's great for flexibility, both in body and mind.
Pippy, still excited about his newfound swimming skills, politely declined.
Maybe later. I want to try swimming. Will you teach me?
Of course, Pippy, follow me.
Pippy followed Professor Seal into the cool, refreshing water. It felt strange at first, but as he started to move his flippers, he felt a thrill unlike any other. He glided through the water, feeling the current carry him along. He dived and twirled, feeling the water rush past him. He chased after fish, feeling a surge of joy with every successful catch. Pippy had never felt so free, so happy. He was a natural. Professor Seal watched with pride as Pippy splashed and played with the other penguins. He had found his place, his passion. The sun began to set, painting the sky with vibrant hues of orange and pink. Pippy, exhausted but exhilarated, climbed onto an ice floe. The journey had been long and arduous, but every step had been worth it. He had faced challenges that seemed insurmountable, yet here he was, standing on the ice floe, feeling a sense of accomplishment that warmed him from the inside out. Beside him stood Professor Seal, his wise and patient mentor. Pippy looked up at the seagulls flying overhead, their wings slicing through the air with effortless grace. For a moment, he remembered how he used to envy them, wishing he could soar through the skies just like they did. But now that envy had melted away. Pippy had discovered something even better, something that filled his heart with a joy he had never known before. He realized that he didn't need to fly to find happiness. He had his own unique abilities that made him special. He was a penguin, and he was meant to swim. The water was his domain, a place where he could move with agility and grace. As he swam joyfully, surrounded by colorful fish, he felt a deep connection to the ocean and all its wonders. As Pippy drifted off to sleep that night, he dreamed of vibrant coral reefs teeming with life. The colors were so vivid, and the underwater world was so full of mystery and beauty. It was a place where he felt truly at home. In his dreams, he swam alongside playful dolphins, their sleek bodies gliding through the water with ease. They welcomed him into their world, and together they explored the endless possibilities that awaited them in the vast blue ocean. The ocean was a place of adventure and discovery, a place where Pippy could be himself and embrace his true nature. He had learned a valuable lesson that day, that sometimes the greatest adventures are found not in the sky, but right where you are. Pippy realized that he didn't need to be like the seagulls or any other creature. He had his own unique gifts, and those gifts were what made him special. He felt a sense of pride and contentment as he thought about all the amazing experiences that awaited him in the ocean. The ocean was full of wonders, and Pippy was ready to explore them all. He knew that he would face challenges along the way, but he also knew that he had the strength and determination to overcome them. He was proud of who he was and excited for the future. And so, Pippy, the little penguin who couldn't fly, found happiness in the water. He no longer felt the need to be something he wasn't. Instead, he embraced his true self and found joy in the simple act of swimming. With each joyful splash, Pippy celebrated his unique abilities and the beautiful world he was a part of. He knew that he was exactly where he was meant to be, and that was the greatest adventure of all.